Now at this point it's clear FNAF Security Breach was not what fans were expecting, but for me, I can say it's kind of what I expected. A less scary, more futuristic take on the FNAF universe, which in my opinion just doesn't work. We have gone from this, something dark, gritty, and overall horrifying, to this, something that looks like it's straight out of a Pixar movie in my opinion. The original games had a storyline that drew you in, and as you got deeper and deeper, it got more and more unsettling. This original storyline still creeps me out till this day, and most of the story was displayed through little mini games that when analyzed enough, it tells the events in the story. Now what have we gotten from the two most recent games? Let's start with Help Wanted, a game that in my opinion is great in terms of gameplay. In the story department, it kind of fell short, which in my opinion is understandable because, well, personally I see it more as an origin story of Vanny, aka the new antagonist of the series. Kinda. But the flat mode of the game literally sucks, but I can overlook it because, well, the game was designed for VR and wasn't really intended to be ported to consoles. Now let's move on to the second most recent installment, FNAF Security Breach, which most of what's wrong with this game has already been covered more in depth with other people's videos, so I won't be going over everything wrong with this game because, trust me, there's a lot wrong with this game. And instead I will be focusing on the gameplay and story elements as I just did with Help Wanted. Firstly, let's go over the gameplay. It's a great idea. The fact that Freddy's now on our side and we can climb into him for immunity is a great gimmick, but the problem from a lore standpoint is, well, this idea was used already, but not in gameplay, instead in Funtime Freddy's blueprints from FNAF's sister location, where it explicitly tells us this mechanism isn't safe for a child to climb inside of. Instead, this mechanism should be the opposite of safe, their demise. And if it's not used for that and is instead similar to Circus Baby's mechanism, that still doesn't make it safe because, well, but aside from that one gimmick not making sense, the gameplay sounds great but wasn't executed well. Also, this game seriously struggles with the mood and tone it's trying to convey. I don't feel like I'm playing a mainline FNAF game, but instead I feel like I'm playing a 3D FNAF world. Now for the storyline elements, this game's advertising was kinda misleading in terms of the role Vanny plays in the game. It felt like she was barely present throughout the entire game. The clip of her skipping down a red hallway hyped me up for the game even more, and her character, and I expected it to be really scary when I played that said scene, but instead this ended up just being a cinematic, and what we got instead was, well, alright, I guess. Her chase music sends chills the first time, but after the first time you expect it, and the next time, well, it's no longer as scary. Don't get me wrong, it sounds great, but with how slow she moves, it doesn't feel as fast-paced as Foxy running down the hallway. The current theory for this game is really upsetting, because, well, it involves yet again the Afton family, who had such a nice ending in FNAF 6, but if this theory is to be believed, it takes away from that ending a lot. The person who brought forth this theory is Game Theory, aka MatPat. Also, there's a video that I'll link below that explains why this theory might be correct, and I'll link the actual theory down below. But if this theory is to be right, it'll really upset me and probably anger the community and cause a lot of YouTubers or big streamers to leave the community. But anyways, with that being said, I've been Just Quilted, and until next week, later.
Losing interest. Love me in the beginning, but that shit is ending. But myself is splendid, but I'd rather not be up with it. And shout out my homies who helped me, but I'm all lonely, that shit wasn't healthy. You wouldn't care if my face on the telly. You don't even care to just answer your celly. Like damn, what am I doing? Thought I was your man. You was just switching like tram, round and round like a fan. Stay on alert so this shit do not happen.